What's up YouTube? Lizzie B here. Just wanted to make a quick video to talk about some more JW stuff. What's on deck for today is I wanted to talk about a particular instance which for me was a red flag. I mean, I've had a million red flags, as I'm sure many of you have. But for me, this one is one of my favorite stories to tell because it's hilarious, and it also is just a nice little, it was a nice lesson for me to, in how to listen to yourself, like listen to that inner voice. And yeah, so to give you some information about me, I hate field service. I always did. I mean, except I'm not counting when I was little and I had no choice and I didn't really even know what field service was, but I'm talking about like as an adult. One thing that I strongly feel is that time is the most valuable resource that you could possibly give someone. And I never quite knew how to put that into words. I didn't know how I really felt about that. I just knew that inherently field service was wrong, and I just didn't understand why. Now that I'm older and I really value my time and I really guard my time, I see how much field service is it's a time suck. It's a time drain. It wastes your time, it wastes everybody's time, and it's just wrong. I felt these things while out in field service, but I never quite knew why. I never understood it. But yeah, I hated field service. I mean, like with the fire and intensity of 1,000 burning suns, I hated. Listen, like I hated field service. I hated it so much. Every weekend, thankfully I had a job where I worked on the weekends, so I didn't really have to go out on the weekends. I would try to go out during the week. And like I would get up with a lot of the elderly women at my congregation. We would get up at like 6 a.m., 7 a.m. and hand out whatever tracts and watchtowers and stuff in front of like some grocery store. And nobody was up anyway except other senior citizens. So after a while, it was just, you would just stand there. You know, you're standing there holding literature. And for me, I was just like, okay, well, at least this is a good way for me to get to know a lot of the older sisters at my congregation. And that was the best thing that I got out of field service at all, was the I guess in a sense like the fellowship with a lot of the older friends, because they were so sweet and they were so they had so much advice, and just they were just nice people, and I think a lot of times this was their way of hanging out with each other and just having a good time. So that's the bright side to field service. But honestly, I could have, even that was kind of like, I could have done without it. I just wanted to get my sleep and go to work or whatever. And then I just felt like it was a waste of time. You're wearing these ugly clothes. You're, sliding your feet down the street. They call it, I don't know if they call it this at other congregations, but at the congregation that I went to, they called it the Pioneer Shuffle. Because they knew that, they wanted to get as much time as possible, so they will walk at the slowest pace possible. And in hindsight, we really must have looked like zombies, because we're just dragging our feet, walking down the street. One thing I did find also, and I'm going to get to my story in a minute, but one thing I will say is that with field service, I found that most of the friends that I went out with, I could see that they didn't like, there were certain types that did not like field service as well. And they would try to get around it because they wanted to be pioneers. They wanted to have those hours. But at the same time, they didn't want to have to be out in the street. I've gone out with the friends, and in certain instances, some of them would just go to a friend's house and just have tea and eat and just have a good time. And they would count that as field service. And for me, I'm like, okay, I hate field service. Clearly, the Holy Spirit or whatever it is that makes you like field service is not in me. But what I won't do is lie. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to sit here and lie and say that I did this many hours when I didn't. And when I know that I went to a friend's house and had tea with them or whatever. And that's one of the many red flags that used to really irk my nerves, was when there were friends that would kind of cheat with when it came to the hours. Because I'm like, look, you can lie to yourself, but you're not lying to God. And that's what I thought it was. It's like, if you're, turning in your report, you're saying that this is how many hours you spent doing God's work, when in reality you're not, you're just hanging out. So I mean, to me it was just like a waste of time. It's like, if you don't want to go out and field service, then don't. And that's what I did. I didn't. But there was one particular instance where I decided, you know what, let me roll out and field service. Let me jumpstart this whatever that I'm missing. Let me try and get out there and go out and field service. And I was going to go with an OG, you know what I mean? Like, this sister was like serious. She was an older sister, and she was pioneer supreme, whatever, like highest pioneer level one can get. She was there. And so I was like, I'm going to go out and field service with her. And, because she didn't play around, and she was tough too. She was kind of tough. So I go to, I meet with the group. It's like, I think it was like 7 or something, and we did our normal field service work. Me with the older sisters, and we were all sitting on the wall or whatever, handing out watchtowers and stuff. And then we go back to the Kingdom Hall, and everybody's like, I'm going home, it's raining, it's cold, like we don't want to be out, I have stuff to do, we were out earlier, we got our 2 hours in, whatever. But this sister, of course, she was going to stay out. So I'm like, okay, I'm with her, I'm gonna be an OG too, you know what I mean? Like, we're gonna like bust out these scriptures, I don't know, whatever. I'm corny, I'm sorry. So anyway, I'm like, I'll stay with her. And so that's what I did. And there were 2 other sisters as well. They were also elderly. And they were like, we're going to stay out with the sisters as well. And so it's 4 of us. It's a rainy day. It's cold. It's windy. And I'm not talking about like a rainy West Coast day. We're on the East Coast, and it's pouring, like sheets of rain just pouring down. And it was one of those rainy days where you needed boots and a coat and a really good strong umbrella, because if you had a bad one, that bad boy was flipping inside out. That was the kind of rain that was coming down in sheets, right? So the sister's like, okay, look, we about to do this. Like, we're gonna go to this grocery store. We're gonna stand out, because they have like an overhang. I know all the good spots. Stick with me. And everybody's like looking around like, yeah, she knows what she's doing. She has all the good spots. So we all, follow her lead. And, I think she was driving. We get to the grocery store that has that overhang. And we stand out there for a little bit, and nobody's out. No, listen, nobody was outside. So it's like empty, clear completely, and it's just us standing under this overhang. She's checking her watch. She's got the watchtower out, and I'm like, looking around, and we could barely make conversation. The rain was so loud that we couldn't even hear each other. And so I think we stood there for like maybe a half an hour, something like that, like something unreasonable in that kind of weather. And she's like, okay, now there's another spot that I know about. Let's go there and see if we can get some foot traffic. So we go to another spot, and nobody's out, of course. I mean, it was the kind of weather that cars were barely even driving in, because there was so much water that it's like you're just pushing through water. So everybody was home. It was like one of those kind of days. So she's like, we staying out there for a half an hour. She's like, okay, I got one more spot, and we're going to stay out there. I'm going to get my 2 hours or something like that. Some 2 hour, I forget, whatever she needed it to get her like final hours or whatever. So we're trying to hang on, me and the other sisters. and I give them mad props, because they were older sisters, like these women are in their 60s and their 70s, and they're out in this weather. And the other, the OG sister, she was in her 70s as well. So, I mean, I give them some serious props, because I was barely hanging on. So, either way, we go to the 3rd location. And this 3rd location is like this overpass. And so we go so we're under it, and in that sense we're shielded from the rain, but there's still a wind, going on, and it's not the biggest overpass, but we stay right near the corner, and now nobody is out. Like, who would we have been handing these towers to? Nobody. But the sister pulls out the watchtower. She's just holding it like this, right? And I'm like, oh shoot, Well, you know what? No, actually, I think by that point I lost my edge. I was still, oh shoot, at the second location. The third location, I said, you know what? I'm not even gonna pull my watchtower out and get it all wet in this weather. But at that very moment, we see this homeless guy, and he has a broom. He he has no shoes, and his pants are like sagging just enough so that you can see half his butt, you know what I mean? Like, so he's got like the smallest little shirt on, and so he's just sweeping, going up and down the street. And this is not like where the underpass is. He's just getting soaking wet, you know what I mean? Like, he got the shaggy beard, the crazy hair. Okay, I'm sorry, I got cut off telling this long story, sorry. All right, so where was I? There was a homeless guy, and he has a broom, and he has no shoes, and he is just sweeping. And he's not under the overpass with us. He's off just to the side, so he's just getting the full rain, and he's sweeping. And I'm thinking to myself, this dude is crazy. This man is crazy. What is he sweeping? He's not, like, he wasn't sweeping anything. I mean, it was rain. He was sweeping the water, but the rain was just coming down. So I'm looking at him, I said, this man is clearly insane, because he's not accomplishing anything. He's the only one. This is what my brain was saying. He's the only one out in this rain, and he's sweeping nothing. And then I look to the side, and I'm with 3 sisters, and they're holding out watchtowers to no one. So I'm like, wait, we're crazy. We're crazy. And that's when I was like, okay, I'm going home. And that was it. I think everybody else kind of followed my lead. Sorry, I got a piece of hair on my face. Everybody else kind of followed my lead as well, and we all, hopped in the car, and we went home. I think the sister got her hours as well. But that for me was like a big I don't want to say red flag or wake up call, but I think that there was no possible way for the universe to make a better point than that. And so when I think about that moment, it makes me laugh, because my brain, it took that much work for my brain to draw the connection. And I think that was the last time I went out in field service. I may have went out one more time after that, out here on the West Coast. But even that was kind of ridiculous. But that was it for me over there. I couldn't do it anymore. After that, I said, I will go to hell, or whatever equivalent there is for Jehovah's Witnesses, which is not being resurrected. I'll take that. If my being out in field service, if it's between that and my eternal life, then damn it, this is just all there is for me, because I can't do it anymore. And so that was definitely one of the many red flags for me that let me know that this is not the truth and the light in the way. And I'm thankful for it. One thing that I do like to emphasize, and I hope to emphasize with my videos, is that you really got to listen to your inner voice. The one thing that you find with cults and with groups controlling groups is that they will try to stifle that inner voice. And what you want to do is make sure that you're always listening to it, because it is more right than you think. You know what I mean? Listen to how you feel, listen to how you think, listen to your body, pay attention, because it's so important. You really have to listen to yourself. The universe is always speaking to us, and whether you want to call it universe or God or Allah or Jehovah or whatever, it's always speaking to us. We just got to quiet down and really listen to how we feel, because if something is wrong, it's not going to stop showing you that thing is wrong. You, at a point, you might get so used to stifling that voice or stifling those feelings that you don't hear it anymore. That's become your pattern, but you just always want to listen to your voice. And one thing I do want to do is a video like on meditation or something, because I love meditation, and it's definitely something that helps you to get that voice back and to listen to it and to make it stronger. So yeah, that's my story. Thanks for watching. I'm curious about your field service stories. I have a ton of field service stories. Like I said, I hate field service so much, but I love hearing funny field service stories or interesting field service stories. I think those are the times that the universe tries to speak to us the most, is out in field service, because that's one of the many times where you don't have somebody to shield you from hearing the truth, experiencing the truth, or seeing certain things that might speak to you. So let me know your field service stories in the comments below, or let me know if there's anything that you want me to talk about. And thanks for watching. Bye.